Austin, what's the worst you ever hurt your genitals?
What a personal question right off the bat. I do have an answer. I might have to edit it out because it's pretty yucky, and I think I have to ask permission. But if you want to know, you're my friend, and I'll tell you. And maybe this will stay in friend corner. Are you sure you want the answer to this question?
On my side, it's when I accidentally kicked myself in the nuts. That was a deeply unpleasant time.
Is there any more context to accidentally? Famously, there is an online communist who made their whole thing kicking themselves on purpose in the genitals. A deeply unpleasant person. Shouldn't have even brought it up, but as media, I'm picturing that. How did you do it on accident?
I like to sit crisscross applesauce a lot, and I like had my foot locked in a weird position, and I was trying to readjust in my chair, and I put too much force behind it, really wanged myself in the wang.
Oh, dang. Ding, dang, dang. That sucks. Luckily, this is at the beginning of the episode, so this is all very easy to cut out if I don't get permission to answer your question, which I was very violently skull-fucking someone. And hurt. It got I think it was either a teeth graze or something, but a lot of blood came out of my penis. So that's the answer to that question. Sorry, Dan. So you asked it, and we're friends and we're honest with each other.
Occasionally, I'll see like some sort of porn action where I'm like, "That's such a dangerous move. One wrong snap, and you're snapping it. It's gonna be gone. It's gonna be gone forever."
You can break it. I mean, I haven't actually seen that in person, but my understanding is, despite not being made of bone, you can snap that thing. This is all thematically on topic, by the way. This isn't random because him's penis broke. This is where we are. Full spoilers, I guess, up to the last released Fear episode, which is the ending of the Missing Farm arc. Do you have a better name for it?
No. I was hoping I would come up with something in that moment, and I simply didn't. Nah.
Okay. It wasn't a trick question. I thought you either did or you didn't. But
well, in my head, it's like this is the alien one, where I throw an alien at you.
Which, like I said, full spoilers, so we're not even gonna hide that's an alien. But I'm not gonna put in the title like ending of the alien arc explained, because that would ruin the whole thing. That's also why I can't call that one episode Jean Jacket shitting out ETs, because that gives away too much.
I guess, yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. It's really great. I have a lot to talk about and think about, and this is kind of an experimental crew gunk. We've never done one about like a level up or an injury or anything. I hope people like this because my thought was, if we do a normal downtime scene where I say, oh, I'm at level 9, I took 1 level in intelligence, and also I destroyed my own reproductive system. Anyway, I'm going to have a scene with a skeleton.
Yeah, you fell down a tree and hit every branch on the way down between your legs.
It just wouldn't do it justice. And like, even if you, Dan, were like, I'm actually not interested in talking about Desiree's holes for half an hour, that'd be fine. I'd still record this myself because I just want to get this out there. And I think it would be bad. It would be like poor sportsmanship. It'd be bad podcasting for me to hog this much time during the episode. Like, Laura and Quinn's time is valuable.
Hog this much time talking about your hog, yeah?
Yeah, her bug hog. But I think this is some of the most interesting stuff what's happened to Desiree so far. I know it's only like 6 episodes in, but she's got a lot going on. So to back up, the injury mechanic we do here on Dice Funk it's not in 5th edition. I'm not saying I invented taking permanent injuries. Obviously, tabletops have been, people have been doing shit for 60 years at this point.
Yeah, and potentially this concept has existed since the dawn of time.
Injuries? No, injuries weren't invented until Jonathan Injury fell down the stairs in 1946. But no, normally D&D kind of gives you this heroic fantasy where you can get knocked down to 0 and jump back up. Like, as long as you aren't like vaporized, as long as you don't turn to atoms and blow away in the wind, someone can fix your stuff normally, which is fine if that's how you want to play. I personally, as DM, found it more interesting that your journey and travails change you in some way. I guess my first question is, Dan, why did you choose to incorporate that when you could have done something else? What you're DMing for the first time a full season here. What are your thoughts about bringing back this mechanic?
Austin, I don't know how to tell you this. I didn't. You decided this and just said this is happening. And I went, sure, why not?
No, you say I can pull up the tape. You did say that think about an injury, and then you text messaged me, you Discord messaged me, suggesting that the injury was that it changed her reproductive situation to that really nasty frog who houses its larva on its back.
Yeah, so this wasn't me thinking injury. This is me thinking I want to do a weird moon thing to you because I haven't mooned you guys enough. And you took it to what if I snapped my peanuts clean off?
Let me look up the name of that frog because it is truly disturbing. It's a really gross thing that I really hate. It's also kind of tryptophobic, with the little holes and stuff. The Suriname toad is what this creature is called. I do think this is fundamentally horrifying, and if I, in my mind palace, could have figured out a way that I thought physically would work, I think we could have gone there. But I just had the other weird idea, which was to completely change my character's premise, just immediately stick a stick in the spokes.
Instead of literally blowing up your character like previous seasons, you're sort of narratively blowing up your character.
I am always kind of fascinated with horrible injuries. If you were psychoanalyzing me, you would point out that at the age of 14, I did suffer a horrible, debilitating knee injury that changed the course of my life. You're not getting paid for any of that psychoanalysis, but that's the thing you could potentially look into me on. But I do think it's cool because the normal RPG progression for pretty much all tabletop and video games is number go up. The more you play, the stronger you get, and then the enemies also go up, which means that the progress is kind of negated because you're both going up at the same time. Whatever, that's fine. I like video games. But as a person who also wants to write like literature and stuff, I actually think what might be called a subtractive progression could just be more interesting, because a lot of especially genre fiction, you're joining people who are like cool and badass or whatever at the top of their game, and they really only can go down from there unless they get like a mystical amulet or something, but like people generally get weaker over time. Yes.
Not me. I'm only on the ascendancy. I keep finding all these mystical amulets. We're recording this approximately 5 days before I turn 30, so we'll see if this continues or if I turn to dust.
You're just festooned in amulets. You've got so many. It's a real problem. Yeah. Maya's telling you to clean up the amulet room, and you're like, "I'll get around to it."
She gets upset when she sees a new box coming in because it's probably an amulet.
Yeah, and all their boons like conflict and negate each other. It's so annoying. You have to figure out like different sets to wear.
I will say from my perspective, I do like this more than what is potentially could have been chosen as, I like the injury mechanic and concept, right? But the how do I put this? Autistic part of my brain sees giving a number penalty, like we've done in previous seasons, or I mean Quinn, as she rips parts of her character clean off, just slowly approaching a potential death spiral, which itches at my brain going, no, the balance, it won't work.
I love that. That's my whole thing. Fuck balance.
Whereas if the answer is, fuck, I can't get people pregnant no more, that's more interesting to me.
Yeah. So it's funny, a great reveal right off the rip is there's a bit of a miscommunication. You were trying to give me a moon curse, and I thought you were implementing an injury penalty. And my first thought was like, we have done almost all of them, right? Someone's hurt their hand and got a -1 to dexterity. Someone's hit their head and got a -2 intelligence. I was like, that's all fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But what if I do something bolder, something cooler? And I was like, okay, well, what is the fictional contest? I just got baseball hurled. I got fastballed by a living spaceship into a tree and then into the ground. Like, I'm taking huge blunt force trauma.
Well, into Stiora, then into a tree, then into the ground.
Yeah. And I think the first thing I sent you was like, maybe I like lose an antenna or something. That's, that would have been fine. But then I just had this very stupid idea of what if I get like horrible internal bleeding and damage, and it fucks up my ability to grub. And it's like, oh shit, my whole character pivots here. Instead of being on a journey to just impregnate as many people as possible, now I have this one last grub who is my last chance to connect with my child. It's like, this is it. Be a good mom or you have failed.
While ignoring all of your existing children still. We'll see how that goes in theory. Because I imagine if your living adult children see you finally deciding to be a mother, they're going to have some feelings about that. So I think I have to at some point incorporate something to that effect.
100%. Yeah, I'm kind of basing Desiree's characterization on the Tarantula Hawk wasps' real biology stuff, which is they only live for 5 months, right? Thrycreen are,
Mhm.
I think, automatically like the shortest lived race, regardless. They live longer than that, but just like proportionally, like they are about that grub life. They pretty much only exist to do their nasty tarantula thing. That's why I've repeatedly talked about how their mouths only eat nectar, because that's just pure sugar to go, 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 go. You know, it's grub, grub,
Mhm.
grub, grub. They don't need anything else. And I looked it up. You know, they put 10 to 15 grubs into spiders in their lifetime. And I guess I was kind of going in, I didn't have 100% nailed down, but I was thinking, yeah, Desiree's probably like halfway through doing that. So maybe like 7 or so. And she thought
Mhm.
she had more time. And so far, yeah, as soon as they are done, feasting and grow up, she loses interest in them. And yeah, she kind of like abandons and deadbeats them. And she keeps thinking, well, next time it'll be different. Next time it'll be different. I have time, and now she doesn't.
Now, also, let me pitch you something here. I'm just thinking off the rip because you were saying, the number of grubs, right? What if we make it an even 8, and then you have your new grub, your newest child, kill all of them to prove they're superior? Because if it's 8, it's like Pokemon gyms.
I mean, that could be fun. Yeah. I mean, there's so many different ways we can take this, including all of the characterization with the grub. Oh, and I should say, if you already typed out a really sick comment letting me know that grub only refers to the larva of the rhinoceros beetle, I know it's Thrycreen slang for a young person. To me, got you. Damn, you didn't think I had an answer to that, did you, bitch?
Yeah, the answer being no.
But yeah, in my imagining, after this downtime where she will have her grub, it could be characterized in a number of different ways. But
Mhm.
before we even get to the character stuff, I need to talk about the mechanical stuff, because rather than disadvantage on stealth or something like that, the penalty is I am changing subclass from Gloom Stalker to the Grim Harbinger from the Crooked Moon book, or PDF, at least that's what I have, which I didn't realize like was a big thing. Part of being friends with Dan is like you just send us like cool stuff all the time. You're like, look at this minifig, look at this Kickstarter campaign. And
Mhm.
Crooked Moon was like a Halloween themed thing you sent.
Yeah, as they stole my whole shit right at bar for bar.
Yeah, you said basically like, oh, we took too long. Someone else jacked my steez. There's a spooky D&D thing. I didn't realize this was like a big deal. Crooked Moon is from some other bigger production thing that's like important in the space. I don't know if you can speak to this better, because I just only am recently
Yeah,
learning that this is a thing that matters.
it's by Legend of Evantris, which is like I think it is currently like the biggest viewership on YouTube for or at least in terms of like shorts, right? I
Yeah.
don't know, like if it's you could call it the most money making one compared to like Critical Role or whatever. That one has like a TV show. But it's quite popular, and that they like 2 years after I said, hey, what if we do Eternal Night fucking moon stuff, they did it. They listened to the episode and they did it. Of course I'm being facetious, but yeah, it's a quite a popular series.
It is the Dice Funk curse, is that someone always jacks our steez. I'm sure a really popular train season will come out somewhere right before Laura takes the reins. But the Crooked Moon stuff is pretty interesting. We could talk about it more in detail some other time, perhaps. But the important thing is that Grim Harbinger is a ranger subclass built around you having this companion called a Grim. The book says that it usually takes the form of a dog, like a spirit dog kind of, but it's not 100%
Mhm.
married to that. Do you know about Grims? That's a Appalachian folklore thing.
Yeah, I know like the general concept behind them. It's some sort of ghostly dog creature. I think if I'm not confusing it with Black Shuck, they are not evil. I think they're like kind of an okay spirit, but there's a lot of ghost dogs in mythology. So they kind of blend together after a while.
Yeah, true. That humans spending 50 million years evolving alongside dogs. I have a lot of thoughts about dogs. Yeah, no, weird. But yeah, the Grimm's stuff isn't like evil. It's like the Grimm is something you summon and it helps you. And switching to it should, I think, normally be kind of a side grade, not necessarily downgrade. But I think in most cases, this is a penalty to me. I'm going to lose my Dreadful Strike, which is my most powerful damaging thing, where I just do psychic damage on top of everything else. I'm going to lose my proficiency in wisdom saves. I'm going to lose my plus on the initiative. All the stuff from the Gloomstalker I'm losing, and in return I get to summon a dog, which you have been on record. It's not a dog. It's my grub, right? That's what I'm saying here. Is that I'm going to replace the dog with my son, with my large chud son, as was foretold in prophecy. But you've been on record saying, "Oh, if you have any pets, I'm going to fuck you. I'm going to get their asses. I'm it's on site with pets."
Yeah, I mean, like, I need to, I've already been told I'm being too nice, which means that I have prepared the next session to get more violent. So this kid's coming out the crib right into Fight Club. So I have to. I simply must make good and kick your baby.
As the only player who's gone down so far, I have to say I don't think you're being too nice. I think everything is perfectly balanced.
Okay.
But we haven't actually discussed if we are leveling up and getting an item or doing a time skip necessarily. As of for this recording, we're going to do the downtime in a couple days, and I think you're still mulling some things. But I can easily adapt to any of those choices. I don't know if you have anything you want to say about that.
Yeah. So I have a couple things here. I'm not certain on level up or not yet. I don't think it'll matter a ton really in the grand scheme of things. Although Quinn did just lose half of her hit points, essentially.
That was crazy.
In a deal getting her face ripped off. I'm realizing that I should stop making the offer first for the amount, and I should just see what you people will give me first, and then potentially counter offer to take the maximum amount.
Just psychologically, it also makes it feel like it's our fault, which is fun as a DM. Be like, I didn't, you did it.
Yeah, exactly. In terms of time skip, I think that part of this is that I guess a little bit behind the scenes here. We started recording Courage way earlier than Fear because we were still finishing up last season, and my brain goes, these are desynced. I must sync these up, and the easiest way to do that is, she just had a baby. That baby needs to grow up a little bit before it can be used in combat. It needs to get onto solid foods, I guess you could say. Which is just an easy, thoroughfare for me to go, yeah, you guys found some stuff out last episode and some things happened. You do some reconnaissance and regrouping in the meantime to get the timelines aligned.
Yeah, I mean, I fully support whatever maneuvers you want to do. I think it's perfectly, as a listener, I would find it perfectly understandable if you're like, yeah, you went on a couple more missions in the time and they weren't that interesting, so we're skipping past them, Also, on the Courage side, I try to make it as like agnostic to the timeline as possible. Obviously, we've had a couple things like 9/11 happen, which have been referenced. But my feeling is if on the Fear side, you do some kind of crazy thing where someone casts a ritual that makes all magic stop working. Like, okay, we're not going to be able to reference that on Courage for like 2 months, right? But then would you say, yeah, that's how far desync they are. It's fine. I will get over it. I don't know if everyone else is going to have a panic attack. It doesn't bother me.
This is just my autism, Austin.
Okay.
You see it and like, whatever. And I go, no, it must be perfectly aligned. This is the IT aspect where I spent my entire life having to take things step by step by step. And if anything's desynced, I go, something's wrong. I have to fix it. What's going on? What's going wrong?
I mean, the only way to actually sync them is to do 7 Fear recordings back to back to back to back, and then we'll be caught up.
Get up, clear your schedule, Austin.
I don't mind.
Tell your new wife that you unfortunately won't see her for a little bit. We have to record a podcast.
I feel like you and me could do that no problem. It is, I think, mostly scheduling with Quinn and Laura, who have many important things to do. Although, now you mentioned wives. Earlier, you said, Maya says, we can record in 15 minutes. And then I told Joa that, and she said, make it 20. And I was like, you two can't, like, be using your husbands to, like, do raising, like, we're poker chips or whatever. But actually, they can. We have no power.
Yeah. She runs my life essentially.
We are getting straight up abused. No one cares. It's fine.
The topic of From has come up many times. I'm being I wanted to bail at this point. It's not pleasant anymore. She's making me watch 4 episodes tonight.
Wow. But it's very funny. But yeah, I'm curious of what we're going to do with the downtime and everything and how that relates. And, this is something we've been talking about in the Discord. And I personally think it's interesting. I'm curious if anybody else cares about our scheduling. D&D famously a nightmare to schedule cool. In fact, we've had an episode every week for 10 years. Honestly, they should throw a parade for us. They should give us the key to the fucking city. We're good as fuck at this. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Last couple of things I want to say about Grim Harbinger that's going to affect how I play. I still can apply poison to my stuff as a bonus. I can still use my Hunter's Mark as a bonus, but the main thing you're getting is the Grim, which you summon as a bonus, and it adds necrotic damage. Necrotic, the most resisted thing you can do in the game, so that's not good. Although at level 7,
and you're filled with undead, so that in this season, so that's a concern.
It is, and then at level 7, I get something which is that necrotic damage dealt by you or the Grim ignores resistance. So much like my poison, I can't be resisted, but I can be completely stonewalled by immunity. So that's the thing, as I'm basically replacing my very good psychic damage with worse necrotic damage. There's a stat block for the Grim, which has AC 13. That's not very good. And
plus your wisdom modifier.
And hit points 5 plus 5 times your ranger level. So that's going to be the thing. And I'm going to be 100%, maybe too honest with you. I think if my grub gets killed, I think Desiree probably retires as a player character. I think I'll just hand her to you as like our NPC, like mission control, who's like jaded. She's like the Nick Fury or something, just like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. Because I have a hard time imagining like emotionally being like, I can't wait to go on a silly adventure. My child just died. My last hope to have a real connection in this world.
On the topic of just bug Nick Fury real quick, you've read a lot about wasps. Do they have compound eyes?
That's a great question. I have read a lot about wasps.
Would they have one eye patch or like 5,000? Just on the one eye. I will say the Grib does have like a ton of resistances. It's outright immune to necrotic. It can't be scared. Can't be grappled. Can't be petrified. I guess I can't turn to stone. Can't be poisoned. Can't be knocked prone or restrained. I think at some point it also at 11 it gets resistance to basically all physical damage. So if you get it there, he's gonna be quite tough. Maybe this is your ultimate baby. Have you given thought to what you want this child to look like? Do you want it still like kind of larval-esque, or do you want the big boy I sent you on Discord?
See, this is why I wanted you in the call, because I have all these thoughts. So to first answer your question, yes, wasps have compound eyes. The second thing is that although mathematically it seems like my character is getting worse in every way, there are a couple of benefits to the Grim/Grub. Most notably, I can summon it next to someone, and if they try to move away from the Grim to attack us, there's something called the Baleful Howl. They must save on a wisdom save, or their speed drops to 0. So basically, my grub can like lock people down away from us. That may be more interesting and useful in a campaign on like a grid map, but I'm sure we could do something with it if we get creative. But yes, I have a lot of thoughts about what I'm calling a grub as a Thri-Kreen slang for a young person, but which when the grub gets put in the spider or biological organic spaceship, eats it from the inside, and then it pupates in there, and then when it emerges, it is an adult wasp. So I'm thinking small Thri-Kreen like Desiree when we see it, but with some differences. Because her whole thing has been, the reason I didn't connect with my other kids is because they like weren't good enough. They weren't strong or cool because I put them in, elves and dwarves and humans, just like normal guys. Like if I put one inside of an angel or a dragon, that kid would whip ass, and then we would be so close and cool. And I thought maybe she was delusional about that, but you gave me this opportunity. I had no idea you were going to throw an organic spaceship at us. Mm-hmm. I think like, this is the actual chance for a weird different larva, because whatever it's eating in there is unique. Like it's going to have some kind of properties that it wouldn't have otherwise. And this kind of puts it all to the test. And so obviously I'm going to pitch you on stuff. You could just say no. But I'm thinking that the child does come out as a wasp Thri-Kreen, but with
shaped like a Frisbee. Yeah.
With a little bit of an otherworldly bent to it. Not so much that's a different species, although if you want to tell the audience about the Pathfinder bug you showed me, I think it's getting closer to that. And then it might have some weirdness to it. Like you said, what if it, kills my other children? What if it resents me in some way. I was also
What if it
thinking,
just wants to play on him phone?
what if it's a slacker? Yeah, what if it has phenomenal cosmic power but doesn't want to use it? What's this guy that you sent me?
The Trox from Pathfinder. They're like a big bug people. They're large beetle-like creatures. I quite like them because they big.
Trox. You sent me that, and I googled it, and it's like, oh, in Pathfinder, Trox are from the moon. I was like, oh, well, that's too on the nose perfect to introduce that. But I was thinking about, okay, audience, imagine a bug person, but like bigger. And like as an audio medium, I was like, I don't know if I'm a good enough word talker to like impress upon you the difference between Trox and Thrycreen without pictures. Do you think we could do a good job?
My immediate thought in like describing this, although I guess it's a question of like what size will this thing be. I guess at the start it's going to be, what is it? It starts off as medium. Oh, so it's already quite like a large baby compared to you. If it's coming out of this moon beast, the moon mick, I think as you dubbed it. Maybe it comes out where it's chitin, like pitted in gray, kind of like the surface of the moon or this creature. That would be like my first thought.
100%. So I was actually on a walk earlier this week, building up some things in like Desiree's path that I hadn't fully fleshed out. Like what does she name her children, for example? And we've established that in the Dice Funk universe, people use the French Republican calendar, where instead of repeating Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday over and over and over, every day has its own name, and she just names the baby whatever day it was that she impregnated someone with it. And so June 9th, 6/9, my wedding anniversary, is Barbeau. So that's what she is going to name this baby. Barbeau is French for cornflower blue, a particularly interesting color, which I think is similar to tarantula hawk wasps. They do have a bluish orange coloration that's very beautiful, but like it's too vibrant, too beautiful, and it gives off like this guy is kind of ethereal vibe to him. And like you said, like the surface of the moon, like with like weird divots and like strange dark spots. So he's like a moon themed wasp guy, and he has to be a male, as we've established, because of the way that the sex selection works in wasps. I guess it's magic, whatever. I can make him anything, but I'm thinking
and
he's
blue
my large.
Moons are like a type of cosmological thing that can occur.
100%, yeah. So he's my large chud son, Barbeau. He's gonna start off as like a medium, but we'll get stronger. And I'm curious what kind of a characterization you'd start off with and where he could go. I had this like just stray thought, like what if he is like nonverbal at first because he's a baby, and then he could start talking. I don't know if that's anything, but that's just for my first thought at you.
I keep going back. I think it's going to depend entirely on what your first words to him are going to be on camera, and then I am just going to go off from there. Because like I have lots of thoughts about how to portray this child based off of my own life. My best friend is having her second child like within a month. So I'm around a lot of like baby things lately. This could go a number of ways. This could go quite differently. It's just going to depend on how you portray it. My first thought is that because Stiora and her mother, Dr. Delightful, is so loving that maybe this is a little bit more contentious as you enter kickball coach mode to trying to get your kid to become the athlete that you never were.
Yeah, no, I'm doing bring my son to work day for wet work. I'm not a good mom, but also, yeah, this is the species that the Cazadors from New Vegas were based on. They're just full of hate. So it makes sense. But yeah, she's like, okay, you're my special boy. You have a moon destiny. You're like blessed and special. You're my last chance. I'm going to take you all these things. I think literally on the last episode, someone said about someone growing up to be a monster. And I was like, well, I don't want to put that pressure on him, but of course I want him to be a monster. Like, that's good to me.
Yeah, just briefly looking this up, male tarantula hawks, unlike females, cannot sting, as stingers are modified egg-laying organs. They're docile, harmless to humans, and spend their short lifespans drinking nectar and wanting to mate. So I think this kid likes snacks and wants to fuck.
First of all, big same. Second of all, yeah, that does fit into the thing. I think you said, like, what if this guy is just like a number one chiller? What if he just wants to vibe and keep it real? And his mom is like, all right, time to win the Super Bowl.
I think, but yeah, maybe the thing here is that he is incredibly powerful, but simply does not want to be doing this. He just wants to. He wants to sip his little nectar.
I was literally thinking if he grows up and if, for example, Desiree dies and not him, because I already told you what happened the other way, and then I could play Barbeau and I would make him like a really powerful magic user, but only want to use like level 1 spells or something. Just be like, at that point we'd be like a level 11 cleric who can call down hellfire, and I'm mostly like,
just upcasting magic missiles and shit.
Oh, that's good too. I actually really like magic missile. I was thinking about doing a wizard who only does magic missile. Maybe that's it. But I was thinking because there's a cleric in the Crooked Moon known as Ben. So I was looking at that. But also I've given you a lot of fun names to play with for Desiree's children. I don't know if you've ever looked at the French Republican calendar, but you could name her children could be named things such as rhubarb, which is fun.
Perfect. Well, I'll have to dig into that a little bit more. I think this is going to be very interesting. It's going to be fun to see how this mother-son relationship bears out. I'm getting pangs of how okay. How do I put this? My mother, when being confronted with the idea that I might not be neurotypical, her statement was, "You just have a big personality." And I'm confronted with many times throughout my life where my mom was like, "What if you just go out to like a club and do some line dancing?" And I would just look at her and go, you've lived with me for 25 years. How could you possibly think this would be something I'd enjoy?" I think there might be some of these vibes coming out here. I think your child, they want to sip their nectar. They want to go in the pumpkin patch and play with the Gordlings. They want to eat ghosts, things of this nature.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, time for this carnival of suffering to begin. Let's hold them down and inject our poisons. And Barbeau is like, I really was thinking about checking out the new records that the Skeletons put out with their rib xylophones. I think that shit's gonna go hard.
Oh, it's a record player, but it uses the bone to pick up the grooves. I like that. I think that's fun for me. And the little like semaphore thing that it speaks out of, it's just a skull. Perfect. I love it. No, so I do think this will also give me an opportunity to be like, because a lot of like the species that have showed up are kind of inherently born as adults in some ways. I mean, like harvest can be like small when they're first growing, but they grow up real fast. But I've also alluded to, hey, there's like bugbears and other shit around here, so there probably are children here. What's it like growing up in a place like this as like a child that goes through a relatively normal quote unquote lifespan? And I think it's gonna be real weird for him.
Because horror kind of needs things to be like physically threatening usually, so it's not really, if there's a bunch of like baby monsters, that's mostly like a joke thing. Although, have you played Resident Evil 8? It has a very scary baby in it.
Yes, I have. Well, it's like a hallucination baby. Although you say that, I do on my Cabinet of Curiosities have a 1-of-1 fetal vampire art piece staring at me right now. Actually, so I do think that is like a thing to explore. Like, hey, how do families work in this place? We kind of see it a little bit with Stior, and I hope to do a little bit more of that later on. I just heard a weird beeping noise. What the fuck was that? Did somebody just invite me on Steam to something? Let me close that out.
I have the page open for cornflower, the flower that the color is named after. There's a cultivar of this called the Blue Boy, which I thought is very nice. He's my blue boy. Also, apparently, these are very important flowers to bees due to its high sugar production. So,
okay, I know where this is going now.
Betrayal. I cannot believe this. You've done this, my son. I gave you everything. I smashed my fucking whole thorax for you, and this is how you do me?
Yeah, you know what? Maybe Queenie's gonna try to steal your kid. I think I now need to contrive a scenario where she finds out about it and then steals your kid.
Something I think. I mean, I think that we are setting ourselves up for something about Queenie and my children because if all these people are resenting me for abandoning them, and there's this collectivist rival I have, that was something. So it could have gone a couple of different ways, but
Uh-huh.
I think there's an argument I should have been the Grim Harbinger from the beginning, because I'm a person who was going to have my Chud sons, and this is a Ranger subclass about having a little companion. But I think that version of the character would have been like every arc. I have a new grub. I'm constantly giving them out. They're not characters. I'm not focused on it, and maybe that's fine or fun, but it doesn't give us this moment, which was really
Yeah.
what a stupid thing I did to just with no thought commit to such a huge thing. But I think that is why people like my show or my part of it, if they do like me, is because I'm not a coward.
And now I have another option here. I can mutate your child instead of you, and see how Desiree feels about that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you could do whatever. You could get any kinds of moon powers you want, or moon dis powers.
Austin, now here's a question: Are you gonna be? Are you gonna go so far as to like be giving your child like growth hormone to try to make them even stronger, like reverse Munchausen's instead of making them sicker? You're giving them steroids.
I mean, if the opportunity presents itself, it's a thought. I don't think Desiree would think to go out and to seek that out because she's like, oh no, I gave them the strongest host. That was what I did for it already, and now the training begins. But if we come across the potion of power or whatever, she'd probably be like, I would rather Barbeau have that than me. So you could absolutely tempt her into some bad parenting.
Since we were talking about like penalties earlier, I kept coming back to in my head the bit of like, oh, you're in one of the Frankenstein labs or whatever, you fuck up real bad, you trip and fall over and land on a needle, and it says vaccine on it, and suddenly you have a deep love of trains and organizing things. When is that complication going to come in? We're going to in media res give a character autism.
I feel like we're giving our audience autism metafictionally, so that's we're already doing our part. I mean, you mentioned the lab. I as of this recording, my plan is for my downtime to be with Dr. Doris Delightful, because I want to mix it up. I don't want it to be like only Quinn gets to talk to her mom. And she's a medical professional, and I have a terrible traumatic tummy issue, so that makes perfect sense to me. But I was thinking, is Barbeau there? Is he voiced? Stuff like that. Maybe it's not worth getting too worried about right now, because I think the obvious choice would be like, oh, my downtime is with the grub, but it's like, oh, we're going to spend every episode with the grub. The grub is like part of my character, so we don't need to, drill, and I need to talk to Doris when I have time,
Now, have we considered that she's also a pediatrician?
I had not considered that, although I kind of assumed she just has like a different body, or different body parts for every specialty. She has like dentist hands, and she has thoracic surgery hands. She has lung surgery hands, stuff like that.
I'm just imagining that. I think it's that scene in Rocky where fucking what's his name, Ivan Drago or whatever. He's hooked up to all those machines, and they're getting all his biometrics. It's that, but it's a fucking grub. It's running, just squirming on a treadmill.
Yeah, kind of. I'm gonna be a horrible like sports helicopter parent, or like my kid's going pro. I'm doing. Do you know about Baby Gronk?
I've heard of the Baby Gronk. Yes.
Okay, so Rob Gronkowski is the best tight end of all time. There was a kid who seemed like he had a lot of promise, and his parents were spending like infinite money to make him like super jacked at like 13, and people started calling him Baby Gronk because he kind of looked like Gronkowski. That's what I'm going to be like doing to Barbeau. I'm going to be like, you're going to be the greatest hunter in Thri-Kreen history. I'm giving you every advantage. I sacrificed my. I was going to say womb. That's not the correct term for a bug. I crushed my shit for you. You better not disappoint me. I sure hope I don't instill in you anything horrible that gives you a reason to resent me later on.
You know that almost kind of happened to me.
You almost became Baby Gronk?
So I'm not a tall man. I'm like 5'6". I was this tall at 5th grade. So like when they looked at my projections, they were like, this kid's going to be like 6'5". And then I stopped growing immediately after that. And they were like, hey, we got to get this kid on like growth hormone or something's going to go wrong. And then they went to check my growth plates, and they were already fused at 13. I had the bones of an 18-year-old. So I'm unfortunately short, but I could have been a giant, Austin, stomping through the fields of New Jersey, hunting like a lion.
What happened? Did you stop drinking milk? Did you stop eating your Wheaties? What was it?
Austin, I love milk.
Okay.
Maya hates it. Hates how much I love milk.
Okay. I like milk. I drink a lot of milk.
It's a constant contention in our relationship that she wastes milk.
Oh, interesting. Speaking of relationship drama, did Tootsie get you anything for Father's Day? We're recording on Father's Day.
She let me pet her belly earlier, so that's pretty good. Beyond that, not much. I mean, she hasn't thrown up lately, so I guess that's a gift.
I was thinking whether or not to tell this story because it might be too intense. I might put a spoiler warning, but for Father's Day, my son, Mr. Egg, the Chow Chow, he became a man by killing. He took his first life. And he is now a man, as is the nature, as is the tradition of his people. He didn't mean to. He's just very big, and some birds are very small.
It's unfortunate, but that is kind of nature. I was thinking about this. I has Egg obliterated your genitals yet? Because Tootsie, on occasion, will simply use my crotch as a springboard.
A lot of genital trauma in this one. A lot of smashed penises. No, he actually is a dog who likes his personal space. He's not much of a cuddler, which is actually really normal for their breed. Like when I was reading about Chow Chows before we got him, it was like, do not expect him to cuddle you. They do not want to hang out like in close proximity. I think compared to most Chow Chows, he's actually quite affectionate. But no, he's not jamming on my nuts in any way.
That feels quite lucky with a dog that size because there's going to be some permanent trauma if that happens.
Yeah, no, he's 50 pounds of pure fluff, and he jumped. He saw a small bird and jumped on it like it was one of his many toys that he does that with, and it did not realize. It seemed very confusing to him that it did not immediately keep playing with him. I'm sorry, that's sad, but. It's in theme with the large sun. We're talking about large sons.
Yeah, you have two large sons, and one of them is going to be treated much better than the other one, I think.
I was saying to someone the other day, I was like, it's so great to have someone who understands me, because I don't have any large sons in my life, or I didn't have any large sons to relate to until I got Egg, because everyone in my life is either not large or not a son, Like literally look through everyone I podcast with, either small or not a son.
God, I could have been a large son, but my grandfather was 6'2" or 5'2", and it really fucked me. Really fucked me there, Frank. Yes, you were a great father, incredibly kind and a genius, and at one point owned a candy store. But fuck me, you made me short.
No one understands, Dan, the pressures and the tribulations of being a large son. It's not for everyone. I don't know if you could handle it.
He was literally too short to carry the gurneys in World War II, so they couldn't make him a medic.
Damn. But yeah, I guess in many ways, Mr. Egg and Barbeau are going to share some characteristics. They're going to be my stalwart companion.
And mechanically, Barbeau is a dog.
Yeah. So that's kind of fun. I wasn't even thinking about that. But
maybe I'll just use a picture of Egg as the depiction of Barbeau well, I think that might emotionally manipulate you a little bit into being nicer.
Yeah.
So I have to use like a really ugly book to try to get you to maybe be meaner, I guess.
You could never bring yourself to hurt Barbeau if it was a picture of Mr. Egg. His joy and his boundless enthusiasm for life would stop you in your tracks.
Are we gonna maybe hit an arc at some point where Barbeau is on like a field trip somewhere, so Desiree just can't join the arc for a little bit? We have to get a replacement character in.
It's certainly possible. Anything's on the table. I am much less precious about my characters. I was earlier going to give like a whole history of like the injury mechanics and stuff before we got sidetracked. I was going to say like in the 70s when they were playing D&D, you were expected to show up with like 5 sheets because your guys were constantly getting murked. It just like wasn't a big thing. And then the kind of heroic style became ascendant where your character was your special little guy. And actually it was like socially frowned on to like kill someone, for the DM to like unnecessarily kill your character you had so much invested in. It's like a social faux pas. I mean I think if you were a dickhead just killing my characters for no reason, that might get grating, but I am much less precious I think than most people we record with. Like I have 3 backup characters ready to go. People die in stories, people die in real life, it's fine. I don't mind as long as it's interesting,
That reminds me. There's that like famous old school D&D picture. I think it's like a big demon, and there's like the party of characters in front of it. Do you know what the original picture of that painting looks like?
No, if
Uh, be, because it goes back to like how D&D was like originally intended to be played. The original, it's obviously cropped for the book, right? But out on like the left side of the actual painting is like just 9 hirelings that are doing the job of carrying all your shit, which used to be such like a big part of D&D that's kind of dropped off as the system has evolved. Of course now the new thing is you get your little blorbo. You adopt, quote unquote, kidnap a goblin or whatever, and that's your new best friend.
Yeah, I don't think there's any wrong way to play as long as you're having fun. But yeah, the original intention, if you read the book, is that you would have a lot of it is managing the weight of the treasure you're stealing, and you're always stealing treasure. That's how you're like leveled up. Money and experience were like the same for a portion of the game, and there was a whole part of the book about like investing in your like farm and castle and stuff. You were like I was gonna say landlord. That's obviously anachronistic, but like economics was way more important. And I think as the game has evolved, that's really not as much of a thing anymore. People want to play a specific kind of genre fiction where you're like, heroes with, a tight knit group of friends, like, a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I sent you a picture, the expanded picture for your reference.
Oh, yeah. The original player's handbook. I've never seen this left side of this art. That's crazy. Thank you for telling me about this.
Yeah. It's just how, these things, I guess, kind of change over time. And I'm sure this is a cycle. There will probably be a point where it, snaps back as people get tired of one thing and it changes to another. Although I think big women seems to like it's always going to be in style at this point. Yeah. At this point, what is it? Runt's episode just went up on the Discord, and the people are being really normal about it. I'm not being sarcastic at all.
I was thinking that because this is going to be released for a couple of weeks or whatever. So by the time people hear it, a lot of things might have changed. But I will say, when the first world building episode came out, I saw a number of people saying like, "Oh, I bet it's secretly going to be revealed that X is Y, or like these things are the same or whatever." And I just want to be clear. As of this recording, Dan and I have not planned any plot twists. If he has them, he hasn't shared them with me. I am currently ignorant of any way this could go. Just for the record, I'm along for the ride with you. So if you're expecting, some kind of thing where it turns out like the sun and the moon or something, I don't know about that at this point.
Yeah, and like I said, I also lie a lot. I will tell you, I think I've probably told at least one lie or like one sneaky little omission in almost every episode.
Oh my god!
as a misdirect.
You're a monster.
There's not been a point where I've like flat out said like, oh yeah, Steelers actually Swamp Thing, and that's just not true. But I play around with stuff quite a bit.
I, Austin Yorsky, and your close personal parasocial friend, I would never lie to you because I love you personally.
Let me scroll up at our group chat from last night.
We gotta stop. This is the gorge for you.
where Austin said, I could kill every one of our listeners with my bare hands.
I think that's just true. I'm a very large, violent man. As we're wrapping back around to the penis story at the beginning. But I'm trying to remember when we talked about him's penis broke. Was that a courage episode or was that a fear episode? Because
that was in the episode where you broke your penis.
Oh, okay, good. Because that's critical lore for Desiree breaking her, I guess, ovipositor, or probably the plumbing connected to it.
Most animals can, yes, humans can break their connective tissue, but a lot of animals have like a penis bone, so it really doubles down on breaking. God, could you imagine being I guess I was about to say being a human. We can both imagine that, but having a penis bone and needing to get it cast, rough.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I think I said at the very beginning, you actually can break your human penis in a way. It's not a bone, but you can do something to that stuff. And I guess that's the theme. This is the horror season, right? So we got to do the grossest things we can think of. In fact, I don't know if I've said this to you, but part of the reason I pivoted from bee to wasp was because I was like, this is the fear season. What am I actually afraid of? Like, as a human being, I only have like 2 or 3 genuine fears. I'm not trying to sound like tough, but like if you point a gun at me, I'm like, yeah, whatever, kill me. It's, you have a gun, it's fine. The thing that actually upsets me is the idea of having something inside of me that I can't get out, like a parasite or something, like tapeworms, things like that.
Like your skeleton.
If my skeleton was adversarial, absolutely. My skeleton and I are chill as fuck. But literally parasitoid wasps, I know they don't parasitize humans, but like that is something that actually I find frightening in a way, and it's part of why I was like, oh, this is the fear season, I should do that.
Yeah, my biggest fear is driving on a bridge, which is not something that really translates super well into D&D.
Next arc, the bridge arc.
Yeah, when I was younger, I was terrified of vampires. They scared the shit out of me. What was it? There was like Disney had a bunch of like vampire movies that they would play in October. Like My Mom's Dating a Vampire, The Littlest Vampire. Couldn't fucking watch it. Terrified. I remember I had to have been 5 years old. I had like a little like CRT TV in my bedroom. And it came on and I couldn't like get the remote to work, and I just ran out of the room. I simply bailed out until that movie was over. Then I came in and I changed to, I don't know, Nickelodeon.
I'm looking at a drawing. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm looking at a chart of the anatomy of a wasp, and they have 2 stomachs. They have one labeled stomach and one labeled crop, parentheses, honey stomach. So if you didn't know, they have a separate stomach for honey. Some wasps do, and I think that's sweet. I think that's nice.
Is that for like the communal wasps? Because I think some of them, like a lot of insects, they have like a social stomach they can use to like to French kiss and vomit in each other's faces. To share. Is that what you're going to be doing with the baby? You're going to be, oh, sweetie, are you hungry? And then you vomit all over him.
I don't know that they do that. Like you said, there's different kinds of wasps. Some are eusocial, like bees, where they build big hives and all work together and have friendship. Nothing against those wasps, but for fictional purposes, does not contrast with bees enough for me to be an interesting system.
They should rename eusocial to we social.
Yeah, wow. Makes you fucking think, though. This is what the French Revolution is really about.
Yeah, and the removal of French people off the face of the earth. really, the greatest enemy to the French are other French people. If they were Rangers, their favorite enemy would be themselves.
All right. So, do you have any other questions or thoughts for me? So, I think next episode, you'll let us know if we're leveling up or getting an item. Where I'm just gonna say, my next level is I get 1 point in whatever, and I have a large chud son. His name is Barbeau, and he's gonna do necrotic damage.
Yeah, I think we're good for here. I'll let you know in like the next day or so when I watch it do level wise. But I think we covered a lot of it. It was a good chat. We discussed your obliterating yourself, and I'm excited to be your son, Dad.